And if you see my Endowment Fund song, the first scene that I show in that song is exactly that scene which I had that emotional connect with.
Right.
That, wind tunnel, students looking at the results posted on the wall, because I had an emotional connect with that feeling.
Yes.
And I still connect with that feeling very well. Those skills were also provided to me by IIT, primarily because I could become a music techie and then learn those instruments again on my own. So we didn't have any YouTube or any cell phones or anything like that at that time. So it was all about, just sitting on the keyboard and just start learning notes. And I learned chords myself.
Yeah.
That what are the kind of notes that you have to play together to create a sound of a chord.
Amazing.
So when you learn those things yourself without any coaching, so I had no coaching even from before.
Yeah.
I never had a formal training because all those things are expensive. You have to pay for those.
Absolutely.
So I used to just somehow keep an ear for these things, and but that self-learning has actually helped a lot as well. That has led me to compose my own now.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm able to think differently about, and I love doing music for impact.
Yeah.
So I would say the foundation which got created in IIT for music actually has helped my entire career, because I'm able to think very differently.
Right.
And I like to create new things. So that's what happened over time. Every IIT person who gets into IIT, the left brain is already tested, right? So unless you are a logical mind, you can't really crack your JEE, right? So the right brain starts acting once you graduated from IIT. In the sense, connect.
Yes.
The emotional connect part, right? The entire concept of endowment, when I thought about the whole idea, this idea started in my mind in 2011, when I started Ivycap. And the first thing that came to my mind was that the best way to do it is actually think about what you can do for your alma mater. And when the fund was being set up, Ivycap Fund, the whole philosophy was that I want to do it in such a way that the profits we are going to create for me and for the fund managers, I want to give substantial part of those profits back to my alma mater and back to the ecosystem, which was an idea that whoever I talked to, that's the reason the three of my co-founders, also IIT Delhi, when I talked about this idea to them, their right brain immediately clicked with it, right? So that kind of a concept where your fundamental driver for the things you want to do connects very well with your right brain. The combination of your left brain and right brain at that time really can do wonders for you.
Right.
So that was the seeding of the endowment fund idea. And every week I get a new comment. The song was actually published in September of 2019, just a month before the launch of the fund, right? And of course, the kinds of comments which have come over time, I've cried on some of these comments, right? So this says, this song kept me focused to study for JEE. Wasn't able to crack JEE advance in first attempt, but then came across this song after my results and decided to drop a year, and this time I cleared JEE.
Amazing.
But my rank was still not sufficient to get into IIT Delhi. Nevertheless, the journey was fabulous. Writing this comment from my hostel room, listening to this song still gives me goosebumps and takes me back to my days of hard work. Thanks a lot, Vikram sir, for making this masterpiece. One comment was so emotional that actually I cried. It said that there's one guy who was so frustrated with what he was going through, and he had tendencies to even kind of go in a very different direction of life. And he said, I came across this song and decided to carry on and make a difference and really fight it out. And I can tell you that it was very emotional.
Hi, folks. Welcome to this episode of the IIT Delhi podcast. Today, we have the privilege of sitting and conversing with one of the most prominent alumni, Mr. Vikram Gupta, who's a graduate of class of '93 from chemical engineering. He has been enthusiastic and critical in alumni engagement and even setting up India's first endowment fund for IIT Delhi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
How does it feel to be back?
Every time when you come to the campus, there is this joyous feeling, there is this feeling of emotions running through your body. There's this feeling of belongingness. There is this connect with the heart. There's multiple simultaneous emotions that run through your body, and it doesn't matter when you are coming, how you are coming, and or how many times you are coming within a period of time. The emotions are very similar.
So has it been same throughout since you got out?
Yeah, it's of course, it's 30 years now, right, since I graduated, and it's only, I would say, um, of course, I was in the US for a period of time, and after I came back, I wanted to think of more active engagement with the campus and with the institute. And today I feel very good in terms of the potential that exists, especially at IIT Delhi. And I do get an opportunity to now also interact and work with other IITs, the IIMs, and the other educational institutions, not just in India but abroad.
Yes.
But I feel, on one side, very proud to see what IIT Delhi is accomplishing and has been able to accomplish. At the same time, I also feel a huge opportunity to do what IIT Delhi can do, given its strengths, given its brand name, given its the quality of alumni that IIT Delhi has been able to produce. All that make me feel very excited about getting more and more actively involved with the institute.
So Vikram, going back to your days when you realized you got into the institution, what were the emotions like then?
1989, in our year, our J results got delayed. People who joined in my year would know this very well.
Right.
Because there was some teacher strike or something at that time, our results got delayed. Many of us, and Roorkee used to be a different exam, and many other people would have written other exams as well. So many of us joined Roorkee in that year.
Right.
And then 2-3 months later, the IIT exam results came. And obviously, there were a large number of people from even Roorkee and other institutions who actually then came. But I still remember coming to the institute for the first time ever, coming in a bus.
Right.
And, I still remember the person walking next to me eventually came and was in my hostel as well. And we were both walking together, and we were both equally anxious about कि यार रिजल्ट आ रहा है, दीवार पे लगता था विंड टनल में.
जी.
So we were both talking to each other कि यार तुम्हारा एग्जाम कैसा हुआ, क्या लगता है, right? So he was also like, and so when we saw the result, it was very ecstatic. It was very, very amazing. Felt top of the world. And if you see my endowment fund song, the first scene that I show in that song is exactly that scene which I had that emotional connect with.
Right.
That, wind tunnel, students looking at the results posted on the wall, because I had an emotional connect with that feeling.
Yes.
And I still connect with that feeling very well.
It's very visible on your face right now as well, I must say. So coming into the cracking the examination, coming to IIT, having one of those people be a hostel mate now, And obviously, batch of 93 is obviously an illustrious class. How do you feel about that, being part of that legacy?
You know, it's quite interesting. Of course, in our time, the batch size was much smaller, with just about 350 people.
Yeah.
The number of hostels were fewer, much fewer, much lesser. And I still remember that we were standing in a queue when the hostels were getting assigned.
Right.
I still remember those were getting assigned in Karakoram hostel. And I was told that, your assigned hostel is Aravali. And then, we went to that Aravali hostel, and then there were again another queue to get yourself registered there. And some of those people you were meeting for the first time.
Yes.
And one doesn't know at that time what kind of bond is going to build with those people over the following 4 years and over the following years of the life, right? And it's amazing, I still remember very, very visually each of those scenes of coming to the campus, joining, and initial setup in the room, because this is the first time you've stepped out of your home.
Yes.
First time you've actually gone into a hostel setup. First time you are actually now, interacting with the similar set of people who have that kind of a similar experience they are going through.
Yes.
It's a very different feeling altogether, right? So that one doesn't forget very easily.
Right.
So I think that is the time when your bond with the institute really starts building.
Right.
That's the time when you start really connecting with things. And I think, of course, there are different sets of challenges for every batch who joins. In our times, of course, there used to be still a lot of ragging. So, and ragging was not like, there was more psychological and more kind of trying and getting to know each other kind of ragging. So, which was very healthy and which is good. And that was probably part of the reason why one was able to know people the second year, third year, fourth year, even if you were in the first year.
Right.
And as you reached your fourth year, you were able to also know your people in the other three batches.
Yeah.
So that actually was a good way. But the thing was that it was quite constrained to a hostel environment, which means you're actually interacting more with your own hostel seniors and juniors.
Yes.
And to some extent, a similar thing would happen in your departments.
Right.
The interaction starts building there as well.
How do you compare between the two?
Hostel was much more intense, much more interactive,
Right.
much more also kind of outcome oriented in terms of people actually trying to slot you in a certain thing. And if you're good in sports,
Yes.
and somebody who's already good in sports will look for that skill in you and see whether you are the guy who they can make you part of the team.
Right.
If you're good in music, somebody who's already in music, they were looking for people.
Yes.
Can you get this person into the group? So that's the primary intent. I think in the department side, you will see that people, the interaction is more about getting to know each other kind of a interaction as compared to slotting you.
Right.
But I think that's the reason the hostel interaction starts at a very different level and gets you to a different level of connect with people.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's very, very exciting. At that time, since you're going through the process, at early stages, it's a combination of various emotions, including fear.
Yes.
Every time you're coming back from class, the early days, you're like thinking, अब कौन पकड़ने वाला है? कहाँ पे आपका मुर्गा बनने वाला है? That kind of a thing. But at the same time, I think once you start knowing people, you know that okay, this senior is going to ask you only these kinds of questions.
Yes. Yes.
Therefore, you start getting to know people at that time. So, one of the seniors at that time, who is my partner now in my firm,
Yes.
Ivycap Ventures, actually ragged me at that time. So Ashish Wadhwani is my partner, right?
Yeah.
So, and Ivycap Ventures is built on the foundation of the IIT ecosystem, and 3 of my co-founders actually come from IIT Delhi, and 2 of them from my hostel.
Yes.
So therefore, it's a very different feeling. So I still feel when I'm with them,
Yes.
I still feel like we are in the same hostel kind of setup. So it's a good feeling.
We would love to have you all 4 of you in the campus right here.
Sure, yeah.
And probably get to know more about the dynamic that goes on.
Right.
But could you tell us about more about the experience that you had with extracurriculars back in hostel, as we were mentioning?
Yeah.
Was music a part of life then? What about sports?
So music was part of my passion, not just from IIT days, but when I was in my second grade in Punjab, in Jalandhar. I used to be in school over there. And I performed for Doordarshan in Jalandhar when Jalandhar Doordarshan was just set up at that time.
Amazing.
So I did a few programs as a child with my brother, who's also from IIT Delhi, by the way. So we used to go and sing in school programs and TV programs.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave the feeling that you could actually sing and you could perform, and music became slowly part of life. When I came to IIT, I realized that, that was also one way to sometimes escape ragging, because, when seniors would ask, what are you good at? So I would say, I can sing.
Yes.
So the first thing they would say, okay, sing.
Yes.
So effectively, you can sing a song and get away with
Right.
the rest of the stuff.
Yes.
So that is how it started. And then there was a program, there's a program for freshers. So I performed, I sang there. And third year, I became the music secretary. And that was a time where I kind of became more visible with respect to my skills in music. And that was also the time. So I kind of come from a middle income kind of a background. So I didn't have my own musical instruments.
Right.
So when I was a music secretary, I suddenly had access to a guitar,
Yes.
a synth,
Yes.
drums. So now I realize that I can go and play whenever I want. I don't have to buy my own instruments, and they used to be expensive. So third year, I started playing synth,
Right.
the keyboard.
Yes.
Right. So I actually learned music instruments like that. Otherwise, I could have never got access to these instruments. And that's how I kind of felt very connected, because eventually those skills were also provided to me by IIT, primarily because I could become a music secchi and then learn those instruments again on my own. So we didn't have any YouTube or any cell phones or anything like that at that time. So it was all about, just sitting on the keyboard and just start learning notes. And I learned chords myself.
Yeah.
That what are the kind of notes that you have to play together to create a sound of a chord.
Amazing.
So when you learn those things yourself without any coaching, so I had no coaching even from before.
Yeah.
I never had a formal training because all those things are expensive. You have to pay for those.
Absolutely.
So I used to just somehow keep an ear for these things, and but that self-learning has actually helped a lot as well. That has led me to compose my own now.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm able to think differently about, and I love doing music for impact.
Yeah.
So I would say the foundation which got created in IIT for music actually has helped my entire career, because I'm able to think very differently.
Right.
And I like to create new things. So that's what happened over time.
So what about the current narrative about the left brain, right brain situation which happens? What are your thoughts on that?
So, of course, every IIT person who gets into IIT, the left brain is already tested, right? So unless you are a logical mind, you can't really crack your JEE, right? So the right brain starts acting once you graduated from IIT. In the sense, connect, the emotional connect part, right? And I think and they both fight with each other depending on different situations. And the entire concept of endowment, when I thought about the whole idea, this idea started in my mind in 2011, when I started Ivycap. And the first thing that came to my mind was that the best way to do it is actually think about what you can do for your alma mater. And when the fund was being set up, Ivycap Fund, the whole philosophy was that I want to do it in such a way that the profits we are going to create for me and for the fund managers, I want to give substantial part of those profits back to my alma mater and back to the ecosystem, which was an idea that whoever I talked to, and that's the reason the three of my co-founders, also IIT Delhi, when I talked about this idea to them, their right brain immediately clicked with it, right? So that kind of a concept where your fundamental driver for the things you want to do connects very well with your right brain. The combination of your left brain and right brain at that time really can do wonders for you. So that was the seeding of the endowment fund idea. And of course, when I started socializing it, 2017 was my 25th year reunion, is when I started pushing it much harder. And our own batch put together a 1 crore corpus towards the seeding of this fund. And the whole idea was that 25% of our own fund, one profit, we said we'll give it back to the to not just IIT Delhi, but to the other IITs as well, in proportion to the respective alumni investing into the fund. That concept actually spread like fire across the entire alumni. And eventually, 2019, when the fund was launched, that song, which actually created a very, very powerful connect with the right brain, actually did wonders. In fact, 12 days back, even till today, I receive messages, and I will, if you allow me, I will read one message, which actually make my life. Actually, it's very interesting, the kinds of things that still come to me, and people kind of talk about it, right? This came, it says now 13 days ago, right? And every week I get a new comment. The song was actually published in September of 2019, just a month before the launch of the fund, right? And of course, the kinds of comments which have come over time, I've cried on some of these comments, right? So this says, this song kept me focused to study for JEE. Wasn't able to crack JEE advance in first attempt, but then came across this song after my results and decided to drop a year, and this time I cleared JEE.
Amazing.
But my rank was still not sufficient to get into IIT Delhi. Nevertheless, the journey was fabulous. Writing this comment from my hostel room, listening to this song still gives me goosebumps and takes me back to my days of hard work. Thanks a lot, Vikram sir, for making this masterpiece.
Amazing. I have goosebumps now.
So, and I can tell you, there are hundreds of comments, and sometimes, I'll get a ping saying that somebody has posted a new comment, and I get very emotional, and I feel that while the intent of this song was to connect the alumni to really come together to contribute back to the ecosystem, but the impact it is actually creating, not just amongst the alumni, but also amongst the aspirants, is unbelievable. And some of these comments, they'll be buried somewhere. But one comment was so emotional that actually I cried. it's said that there's one guy who was so frustrated with what he was going through, and he had tendencies to even kind of go in a very different direction of life. And he said, I came across this song and decided to carry on and make a difference and really fight it out.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that it was very emotional. So, point I'm trying to make is that when you are able to make a difference to the society by doing stuff like this,
Yeah.
and of course, after this, I've created a few more.
Yeah.
One was for Teachers' Day,
Yeah.
one was for Mother's Day, and each of these actually come from my heart, and I'm so glad that they actually do get liked by people.
Absolutely. I'm sure. So things which come from the heart obviously have much larger impact than we would imagine when putting out that work, right? Also, there's a tendency of there are other alumni who have a different mindset, right? What is the commonality for you to drum up as much support as you did amongst people who may not carry the same mindset? How do you get them on board?
You know, it's a very, very good question you ask. Actually, I've realized when people are not able to align with their thought process, there is a reason why they don't. Right? One reason could be their own experiences, their backgrounds, the situations they are in, etc. Second is the understanding of the specific concept.
Right.
And the third is their understanding of the end objectives and the
Yeah.
outcomes.
Yes.
They believe.
Sure.
So these things can be addressed through proper communication, proper, alignment
Yeah.
of understanding, and I think I have seen that happens as long as you are able to take them through the entire concept and why you're doing something.
Yeah.
And it happens. So a song like this actually delivers a very powerful message in a very short period of time, and it moves very fast. So one has to figure out ways to communicate
Yeah.
more effectively in a shorter period of time, making larger impact. So I think as long as you're able to do that,
Yeah.
you can accomplish the alignment of objectives.
That's absolutely fair. Going back to the different walks of life that you have traversed since you were here, be it corporate stints, be it time in the US, coming back, contributing in as much sense as you are right now. What is that one thing which you took from the hostel? Any sort of fond memory, which sort of still, obviously the emotional connect is there, but specific thing which drives
one doesn't realize, and especially, and I've not experienced other IITs hostels. I'm sure there are very similar kind of situations. I learned a lot of my management lessons in my hostel.
Yeah.
If one would say, first of all, the leadership lessons.
Right.
How to be a leader. How to think like a leader. Because of the way, you have this posts like within the hostel. You have a hostel secchi, you have a mess secchi, you have various other positions where you have to demonstrate your passion and the fact that you can make a difference.
Yeah.
There's a proper election system, there are other things. So that you are able to, if you don't understand that, you have to learn those things, while you're there. People who come from the backgrounds who haven't been exposed to those things.
Sure.
This is the place where they learn those things. The second thing you learn is about the teamwork.
Yeah.
The teamwork is not taught, unfortunately, in our undergrad schools in a very structured manner. At least in our times, it was not. And I'm told that even today, it's not taught in a very structured manner. In many places, it is. But it's taught in the way the entire setting is, in the way you conduct yourself, in the way the entire wing system is, the way the entire model of the hostels is. So that teamwork actually carries you through the entire journey of life. And that's how you see how the teams are interacting with each other, right, over a period of time.
Yeah.
The third is a lot about thinking about giving back to the society, giving back, which again, people may not be able to connect with that thought process, but I think it does come very tacitly during the process.
Sure.
Especially when you gone through that process and after some time you visit back.
Yeah.
You realize, you start thinking that you've gone through the system.
Yeah.
This is what you did. There are a lot of emotions attached to your room, your wing, your mess,
Yes.
your bathrooms, your that garden where you played lots of games.
Yes.
So you start thinking that you can make a difference in even things like these.
Absolutely.
And therefore your other side of wanting to give back comes up over time. So there are quite a few lessons that you pick up during those 4 to 5 years. The hostel was there for 4 years, from 89 to 93, and and there are politics as well.
Sure.
There are things where you also have people you don't connect with very well. There are communication gaps.
True.
There are things where you want to do something and the external force is not letting that happen.
Sure.
So unless you face those challenges, you're not able to learn how to overcome those challenges.
Sure.
And I think the hostel system or the hostel environment
Yes.
teaches you and prepares you for the corporate world. In terms, because in the corporate world, you'll actually deal with situations which are similar.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason you will see IIT Delhi alumni, and maybe, as I said, even other IIT alumni. But the reason IIT Delhi produces much larger number of entrepreneurs, much larger number of successful entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And much larger amount of funds that are raised by startups, and we know all the numbers, is because of that model that has been there, and how you get trained over this period of time. And not just hostel, but also the way the overall institute setting is, the kind of events that happen, the kind of entrepreneurial opportunities that you get to perform, to do a rendezvous, to do a tryst, to do now, of course, people are engaged in many other activities like entrepreneurship cell, and many other things are happening. So all these things put together, and this, as I said, is happening across IITs, but as IIT Delhi has a little bit more kind of a environment which actually starts nurturing that entrepreneurial spirit and the foundation towards that.
Now, as we have discussed, and it's out in the open now, we are looking at the rebuilding of the hostels, right? We are increasing capacities, starting with the old ones. And it also is not just a building, obviously, as you mentioned. It's decades worth of legacy. How can students, the institute, the alumni, make sure that legacy is still maintained?
First of all, in our times, there were just 350 batch, and that got divided into various hostels. We were 2 people in a room, that too enough space. I think over time, the number of seats kept increasing. Infrastructure did not keep pace with that speed of increase. Therefore, the infrastructure, especially in the hostels, started crumbling a little bit. And in the process, I think situations became worse over time. And I think that's the reason new hostel capacities had to be created. But I'm told that it was mostly lagging. The capacity kept increasing in terms of intake, but the hostel capacity was trying to keep pace with it. And I think we are still at that stage where We've created very high quality and quantity now in terms of the number of people. We're talking about 1,200 batch and of undergrad, and then obviously a lot of other all put together. It's a pretty sizable.
12,000.
12,000, right? As a total size, so we're talking about. No, 1,200 per year intake in the undergrad, right?
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
So, but I'm saying that if you have to keep pace with those numbers, the only way you can do, and unfortunately, you are in a location where the campus cannot expand, right? I mean, you're surrounded by roads where already a lot of traffic.
Absolutely.
So you cannot expand horizontally. Unfortunately, you cannot expand even vertically because you are very close to the airport. You have a height restriction. So therefore, the capacity is already defined, how much you can actually do here. What do you do? So you have 2-3 options. One is you start looking for projects outside in other campuses. But the challenge with other campuses is that it takes years before people start associating with those campuses.
Absolutely.
Right? So it takes years of investment and years of building of value there. So it's a time-consuming process. The other way to address it is that you reconstruct existing facilities to accommodate more and to create better quality.
Sure.
Which is the objective of these 5 hostels. And these 5 hostels have probably created some of the world's best talent, corporate talent, right? That obviously there is an emotional connect in the that part of the world, the people out there. There's a direct connect with these hostels. So obviously everybody wants to make sure that you improve the standard of living, and the quality of infrastructure, improve the quantity of the capacity. But at the same time, of course, there are certain fundamental things attached to the original infrastructure. So you have to do it in such a way that you keep your core intact.
Absolutely.
In terms of the name, in terms of the design aspect. But you also add newness to the design with respect to the new age things that are happening with respect to technology, learning environment, how you live together. So bringing that together, I think the whole idea of this reconstruction is to encourage more alumni engagement back with the ecosystem. That's the core objective. Of course, core objective is to expand the capacity without impacting the connect, or rather improving the connect.
Absolutely.
So how do you improve the connect? You actually make sure that if I graduated in a certain year and I lived in the hostel, if the institute gives me the opportunity to attach my name to certain things in the hostel, kind of also gives the satisfaction that you're leaving some legacy behind. That is, or that has been taken by many alumni in a very, very exciting way, and they really want to work along. So we've put together this, and I'm very excited to be involved in this project, and also trying to contribute towards bringing more and more into this. The project is pretty sizable project. We're talking about a minimum 250 crore per project reconstruction. It's not just a capital investment, it is also a lot of logistical planning.
Absolutely.
How do you disrupt people staying in each other's hostels, and either you take one hostel at a time or you take all the 5, because I think it's a very logistical question.
Absolutely.
But it has to be done.
Absolutely.
In the process, you have to make sure that as many alumni who would like to engage and would like to create that passionate connect, an emotional connect back with their hostels. Whoever I talk to about these projects, the first reaction is, how can I contribute? what value I can add.
Yeah.
Of course, I would love to add in monetary value.
Yeah.
Is there any other way I can contribute? So that's the reaction we are seeing. I think this idea hasn't been socialized yet because still at very early stages.
Yeah.
We are going to now socialize it in a bigger way.
Yeah.
And that's going to start now as we speak. It's already in plan and we're discussing this.
Yeah.
I'm personally very excited about it. I think this will create the next level of the infrastructure at IIT Delhi, which is long required. People have been talking about it for a long period.
Yes.
And the time has come to implement it and to execute it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this today forms for a milestone in that journey, at least the foundational stone, if I may say.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the process have begun way sooner, but as you say, we now begin to socialize it.
Yeah.
I think we are a little constrained on time. We would love to take you to the hostel as well and maybe relive some memories there.
I look for any opportunity to go there. So.
Yeah. So just wrapping this bit up for now, there is a couple of rapid fires. If you can help us shed light on which you do, which you prefer.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So Aravali or chemical engineering department?
Any day Aravali.
Engineering or MBA?
Any day engineering.
What is the prouder moment, getting through IIT or securing the first job?
Getting through IIT.
KLS or mess food?
Sorry, say that again?
KLS or mess food?
That's a tough one because I think the problem is, of course, it was always KLS. KLS was right across the Aravali hostel.
Yeah.
So mess food at that time and even probably today, we'll always prefer to go to KLS.
Sure.
Yeah.
First year, fourth year?
First year.
Amchi Mumbai or Sadi Delhi?
You put me on the spot there because I live in Mumbai now and Delhi is, so it's a left brain, right brain. So my left brain is Mumbai and right brain is Delhi.
Could not have been put better. Library or wind tea?
Sorry?
Library or the wind tunnel?
Any day wind tunnel. I've done a lot of music shows in wind tunnel.
Oh, so again, the question is the rock shows, as in the rendezvous or convocation?
Of course, rendezvous anytime.
Water fights at the hostel or birthday celebrations?
Water fights.
Student life or current life?
Any day student life. Make me a student again. I would love it.
Thank you so much, sir. This has been an amazing, insightful session.
No, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Really enjoyed this session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.